Hey guys, great film. I absolutely loved it. Look, Jamie, first question is for you. Laurie is almost as resilient as Michael and is going to stop at nothing until she takes him down. She's a true warrior, but on the sidelines for most part of this film. The first film's really a study in trauma for Laurie. Can you talk to me about her journey in this film?
Wow, you just summarized everything really well. Yes, the first movie is about her trauma. This is a movie about everybody else's trauma. This is a movie about the collateral damage, the concentric circles of trauma and grief and rage and violence that have been perpetrated on by Michael to this entire town. And it feels like a sort of next level chapter 2. Everything is amplified. It feels like he escaped that fire. It feels like he has transcended. Honestly, I believe that if Laurie had died in the back of that truck, surrounded by her daughter and her granddaughter, and Michael was dead, she would have died a hero's death and happy. She would have died with a beatific smile on her face. But we pick up the movie and the fire engines start. And you start to get the sense of, wait, what? So he has now risen. He has risen. He has transcended this. And he is next level angry and violent. So it's a movie about all these other people and the rage and what happens when a mob gets a scent of their attack, and it's terrifying.
Hi, I'm Karen from Shaki, and I wanted to ask them a little bit more for you both about really continuing to build the relationship between your characters and that grandmother-granddaughter relationship and bond, and what that experience was like at continuing that throughout this film as well.
Go, Andy. Go, Andy. Where'd she go? Oh, is she there?
No, I'm here. Can you see me?
Mhm.
I think that the relationship was started in the 2018 movie and built upon here. And I think that Jamie Lee really was the one that brought us all together, both Judy Greer and myself. And she kind of is like our on-screen and off-screen matriarch, I think, in the bunch. And one of the things that Judy and I were musing on earlier that was so special about filming Halloween Kills is that we basically lived together,
Yeah.
Judy, Jamie,
Yeah.
and I, in a little like bed and breakfast in Wilmington. Dreamers Welcome. If you guys go check it out, it was amazing. And we basically lived together for that whole time and just kind of were able to be together and build on what relationship we had and just sit on a big, beautiful porch and kind of get to know each other a little bit deeper. And then go to work and fight Myers.
I think it's generation skipping. I think that Allyson is really Laurie. There's that wonderful picture, Andy, that a fan put together of Laurie in the classroom in 1978,
yeah.
and then you in the classroom in 2018, side by side. And I mean, it's crazy. It's uncanny. And I just think that there's something wonderful about the generation skipping, because Karen isn't a warrior. She's an unexpected warrior, but her nature is not a warrior. It's a worrier. You know what I mean? Like she was the worrier mom, but Allyson's character is much more aligned with Laurie Strode. And it's just a wonderful thing to see in the movie. Beautifully done by David and company.
Emmanuel Gomez with LRM. It's a privilege to talk to you both. We know that Laurie is such an iconic character, and I want to ask you, Andy, how does it feel for you kind of having to take on that mantle now, especially after the events of this film?
You know, I think that being involved in this franchise is such a pleasure and such an honor. And not only that, but being involved in a chapter of it that includes Jamie Lee Curtis and John Carpenter and company is a whole other thing. And it's pretty unique and special to have this kind of bestowed upon me, just on a personal level. And then as the character, you know, I think that Jamie is exactly right, that Allyson is Laurie in so many ways. And seeing kind of her grow and kind of, you know, in 1978, we didn't get to see Laurie grow up a little bit. And with these films, at least, we're kind of seeing Allyson and maybe what would be in a different world. And it's a pretty interesting dynamic to have to be so young and pick up the torch in a way that makes your grandmother proud and that you do it right.
Hey, Chris Hayner from GameSpot. Jamie, unless I'm very mistaken, this is the first Halloween movie you've been involved in where you do not share a single second of screen time with Michael himself. What was your reaction to learning that, and then also finding out that sort of the relationship with Michael is changing and that it's becoming the town of Haddonfield that's rising up against this man?
Well, you have to remember, Laurie, first of all, thinks Michael's dead, and she's a wounded warrior. So she is rendered impotent by this attack. She's been knifed in the stomach. She's had a surgery. So when we first meet her, she's just, she's a wreck. She's just been, she's just survived the surgery. As the movie progressed, I understood what David was doing. You see, she's the target. Michael is the arrow. Michael is trying to come to her. Now you know that Michael is coming for her, which is why the crowd shows up at the hospital. I think what I knew was happening then, because there's a moment where even Laurie says Michael when she's in the crowd. She thinks Michael has come for her. Again, she's ready. She would take him. She would take it all to save her family. So I thought it was a really interesting choice of David's, and I thought that the ending, the last 10 minutes of this movie are as spectacularly beautiful, gruesome, mega violent, next level, chaos, insanity. Andy, you're so, that whole sequence with Dylan and you, and then the mob, and then the people, and then the violence, and then Judy, and just the way that the movie builds. It's like an opera. It feels operatic, and then it stops. And it's just, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, no! It evokes this moment of like, no, what? And that to me is brave filmmaking, to end a movie like that, because there was an alt ending that was very much more traditional, and it's not in the movie. It'll be in the DVD extras. But I love when David told me he was cutting that, and that they were just going to cut on that, two faces, boom, out. I was like, oh, because that's what you said. They haven't been in the movie together, but there they are in the movie together. And what is it going to tell you it's going to happen in the next one? You know what I mean? It's great.
Don Kay, Den of Geek. Jamie, how, sort of building off that, when it became clear that this would be a trilogy of films, how important was it for you to know what Laurie's arc would be over the course of the three films, and building off this one, and even where it will end up in the third one? How was it? Did you have to have kind of all that laid out for you as you went along?
So the first thing you have to know, and I know people are sort of surprised, I had no idea we were making a second movie. We hadn't released the first movie. We were doing ADR on the Sony lot. I came in to do some ADR work, and then David and I went outside for a break. And we were sitting on the wall. He said, so we're going to do another movie, and here's what I'm thinking. It's a trilogy, and here's what the second one's going to be. And he told me the story. And then he sort of alluded to the third one, which is going to shock people. It's going to make people very angry. It's going to stimulate people. People are going to be agitated by it. And it is a beautiful way to end this trilogy. Now, that's all I kind of knew from David. Only recently have he and I started to talk a little bit, post-Venice Film Festival, a little bit about the movie, a couple little tweaks that I've offered, but very little. This man makes great movies. I just have to stay out of the way.
This is Shannon from Nightmarish Conjurings. Thank you both so much for speaking with us today. This is a simple question that's really not that important, but if the opportunity had presented itself, would you have ever taken the role of Michael Myers to hide under the mask and destroy whatever?
Wow, Andy, please answer that question.
Huh. Yes. Why not? It sounds like it could be interesting and fun. I will say it would probably be a lot less scary, but but it could be a blast.
Yeah, I would simply say, in all honesty and seriousness, that I think we're all a little bit of Michael. And I think that ultimately at the end of these 3 movies is going to be what we're looking at. You know, there's a phrase in recovery where when you're looking in the mirror, you're looking at the problem. And I think we're going to be looking in the mirror a lot in the next movie.
Hi, this is Terry from Gaily Dreadful, and thank you both for being here. I'm curious, Jamie, because Halloween Kills brings back some of the cast from the original '78 film, and I was wondering what it was like to be reunited with them for this picture.
Well, there were tears. I mean, every single time. So I saw Kyle, I saw Nancy Stevens, I saw Charles Cyphers, I saw Nick Castle on set. And each time I saw them, or the first time I saw each of them, there were tears. Because the truth is, this is a town that's lost a lot of people. Guess what? I've lost a lot of people. You've lost a lot of people. Nancy Stevens has lost a lot of people. Charles Cyphers has lost a lot of people. Deborah Hill was our connective tissue. Deborah Hill is gone. Deborah Hill is the reason I'm here. I think it's the reason the women in the movie, the original Halloween, are so strong. Deborah Hill's gone. And we're still here. So every time I saw Kyle, the first time, sobbing, Nancy Stevens sobbing, Charles Cyphers sobbing, because it's extraordinary that we are doing this 43 years later. It's extraordinary. So